And we're live. Hi, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to a special experimental stream here at the Untold Stories Project. One of the founding principles of our channel was to provide an outlet for RPGs and creators who don't receive the mainstream media attention of something like Wizards of the Coast or Paizo. We wanted to create a space for games and developers to find a little bit of love and attention, and while I love the Monday one-shots we're doing, I know we can always do better at that mission. To that end, together with my co-host Jess, we are going to conduct an interview tonight in the first ever stream we're tentatively calling Untold Stories. Our guest tonight, I'm very excited about this, is the High Archmage Alphinius Goo, the nougaty center of the Gooey Cube. Gooey Cube is an independent content creation team dedicated to creating engaging adventures based in an expansive world with a rich history that comes alive every time it's played. They seek to help GMs craft epic tales that are compelling for players and entertaining for the game master. We're going to touch on a lot of things tonight, and I am very excited for the Archmage to provide us with just a touch of his wisdom and experience. Phineas, how are you doing, my friend?
Aha! It is marvelous to see you this evening, Alex, and you as well, Jess. I think I've mentioned you already, but we'll make sure everyone who's watching knows. Tonight we were celebrating Ms. Goo's birthday, and of course the old man kind of screwed it up a little bit, right? And set up the stream, and so anyway, the good news is she's in there with the grandbaby, one of the four of them, and the kids and all that stuff. So she has permitted me this opportunity, marvelous opportunity, to be with you two tonight, and we will do our best to provide something. Haha!
You know, and
Moral of the story is we drink to that, because if you're gonna blow off your wife for a game and a talking, we gotta drink for it, you know?
Cheers to Ms. Goo. Yes, cheers to Ms. Goo.
Happy birthday, and cheers.
Happy birthday, Miss Goo. Thank you for letting us borrow your marvelous husband and his wisdom.
She is wonderful. We've been married for 35 years, so it is wonderful.
I haven't done anything for 35 years, so that is amazing. So why don't you tell the audience a little bit about yourself and about the cube? You know, what is Gooey Cube all about?
So we I've been playing these crazy games, Alex and Jess. I've been playing these crazy games since I was in my teens. So this is before they invented fire, which is behind me. You can see there's fire behind me. So it's before they invented fire. I began playing TTRPGs with this thing called the White Box, which is some mythical thing that I understand exists in some measure of creation long ago. Yes, and what happened was that I started playing with some of the young creative people we have a little agency, a little advertising agency in Colorado Springs, and I began playing with some of the young people because I felt like their imaginations were all computer game directed, right? And so this is a different thing, right? It happens in your mind, right? It plays on this thing in your brain. And I brought them to our house. We played a number of games, and of course they got the bug, right? They got hooked. And then the next thing you know, they're saying to me, well, we need to publish all this stuff. And I said, you all are crazy. And anyway, 2019 at Gen Con, we were one of the Entrepreneur Row people, and people loved our stuff. And the next thing you know, we got Gooey Cube, and then we got COVID. So we got Gooey, and then we got COVID, right? So
don't you hate that?
Be safe. All you all be safe, right? Do smart things, right? Yeah. Be safe right now.
100%.
But it is marvelous to be here with you, and we are very excited about producing materials that truly make a game master's life far more easier, while we make the game truly far more enthralling and immersive for the players. And that's what we do.
Yeah, 100%. And, you know, it's nice. I'm glad we're not the only company that sort of got started right before COVID happened. USP's only been around since February, so...
Yes, we are soul brothers and sisters. Yes, that's what we are.
Right? So yeah, speaking of Gooey Cube, one of the reasons we brought you on tonight is because Gooey Cube has a Kickstarter going on right now.
Yes.
Not only that Kickstarter, at the time of this stream, has raised $90,000, which is marvelous. You know, how's that going?
Yeah, so we have a marvelous community, and we have a different approach that we are taking towards the development of our materials. And of course, our community has come out and supported us, but others are looking at our Kickstarter, and I think they are seeing what kind of amazing materials we make, which is so different from anything you're kind of used to in the sort of the industry, if you want to call it that, right? And what has happened is our community believes so much in our materials, they want to support us in our future materials. But now we have lots of new people that are starting to look at our videos, they're starting to see our materials, they're starting to see what we offer, and they're thinking, wow, I like this. And so we are very excited because it has been a tough year. Our plan was to go to all these conventions, and of course, sadly for all of us, we weren't able to be together with all of our friends and enjoy gaming and all of this that we normally do. So, but we are very, very pleased and thankful that so many people have come out and supported us, and we still have a long way to go. So I think it's going to continue to grow and really expand as we go forward.
Yeah, well, we definitely hope that it does. Every now and then in our chat, it will pop up with a link to that Kickstarter for anybody who is interested. I understand it's a box set of adventures as well as a campaign setting, all for 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons. Is that right?
Yes. But there's a couple of nuances. First of all, everyone needs to understand that, I have a particular set of beliefs that have been built on game mastering for 40 years. Mm-hmm. And not just my own beliefs, right? Watching other game masters, looking at videos, seeing all these marvelous people that have all these wonderful ideas on the internet, right? They're all over the place, right? Mm-hmm. And what I believe is that you can really create an adventure that will make the game master's life far more easier. I love pictures. I love images. I love portraits of non-player characters. I love pictures of locations that the players go to experience. All of this stuff I really enjoy, and I think it makes it better for the players. And so that's what we basically put into a box, is all of this stuff that 40 years has sort of taught me, and I think it is resonating well with people.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, having those images is so helpful for Game Master. I mean, I remember when I started, the only pictures I really had for my players, because I was a preteen when I started running games. So I didn't have access to a printer. All I could do was describe things with my words and then draw janky little maps in pencil on graph paper. And we just had to fill in that space with our imaginations or with vivid flavor text for some of my friends who may not have had the most vivid imaginations. So having all of that stuff that's excellent. It's really helpful for a GM. That's one of the things that really appeals to me about the Gooey Cube. It's so GM centric. So your products are designed with the GM in mind to help them promote their own creativity. And it seems like the intention of your products is to help the GM provide everyone with a good time, including the GM, which I think.
Oh yes.
I think that's something that gets lost a little bit when.
No, you are spot on,
when
Alex.
people are
you
talking about that.
No, you are speaking exactly the truth. Because first of all, one of the things that I always kind of was disappointed in when I would get some adventure or something like that is that I felt like it read more like an instruction manual, right? And sort of you get 5 paragraphs kind of at the beginning that tells you everything that's going to happen, and it just didn't feel lively to me. So I'm going to tell you straight up, you game masters out there who are used to the 5 paragraph, here's what everything's going to happen. We don't do that. We cliffhang you. So there's
oh no.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. But we give you plenty. We give you plenty to run the adventure. We don't put you in a position where you're sort of having to fake it, right? But we do cliffhang you. And I have received so many, Alex, Jess, I'm telling you the truth. I have received so many emails from game masters who have been game mastering for 20 years. Some of the best games we have ever run. My players love it. And then other people send me an email, you bastard. Why did you not tell me? I want to know what happens in chapter 3, and you didn't tell me what happens in chapter 3. So I do believe that we are having an impact in that regard with game masters and making it more fun for them, right? I mean, Alex, you are a game master.
100%.
We want to have fun too, right? We want to have fun too.
And I It's funny that you say that because cliffhangers are like my favorite thing to do to my players. So knowing that there is a game writer out there who wants to do it to me just makes me happy and nervous at the same time.
Alex, when you see it, because I know you haven't got it all yet, but I'm going to send you some stuff. When you see it and you read it, you email me, because I think you're going to love the tale. And once you love the tale as a game master, that's when your imagination takes flight and all of this stuff, and then you start taking different tacks and all that stuff that game masters do. It's marvelous.
100%.
Question, or not really,
Yes,
maybe
yes.
it's a question. Maybe it's a question, maybe it's just a comment. I don't know. So I'm getting ready to GM or facilitate in the game that I'm going to be running. It's a facilitator role for the very first time. Okay, I've only been playing TTRPGs for a little over a year now. Maybe it's 2 years. Oh my gosh, I don't know. Time goes by really strangely anymore. But so what do you mean exactly? Like, whatever it's for, I get the whole comparison with it just feels like a lot of paragraphs sometimes, like, because me trying to learn how to GM has been like a headache. Like, I get the best experience watching people do it,
Yes.
and then I'm like, oh, okay, I can like mirror that a little bit. But like when I go to read the rules on a book or I go to read the story, I'm like, wow, this is a textbook, and I'm confused more than I am anything else. So like, also by the way, Tabletop Santa says hello, and
You
they're in
tell
chat.
the tabletop Santa I said ho ho ho. Yes, just like that.
Well, I mean, you heard it right there, so we're all good.
Tabletop Santa and I are soul brothers, or something like that. Yes, he
Something
is
like
marvelous. He is marvelous.
that.
Does that make you a tabletop Krampus?
Yeah, something like that. Yes. Anyway, Jess, I'm gonna tell you straight up. So I believe that our materials help game masters who have been doing this for a long time make their game a lot easier and more enjoyable for them as game masters. But I also believe in my heart of hearts that we will make the game master who is new, we will make that person's life far easier and make the beginning of what you are doing, right? Beginning this game master thing, it will make your life far more enjoyable and help you through the process. I truly believe that.
Yeah, and Tabletop Santa is actually echoing your thoughts over here. So I mean, that's reassuring for one, and just for two, I really love that because I think from being a newbie into this world, it is kind of off-putting to even try to get into the GM role.
Yes.
Most of the times. It seems like everyone's been doing it for a decade at most, or at least really, and it feels like you need like at least 100 books to even begin to understand the process. So I went into this thinking like, oh, I will never be able to GM like ever because it's just too much and I don't understand what's happening. So this is part of the reason why I was so interested to like join Alex with this, because he told me about it and I'm like, oh my goodness, that sounds right up my alley, because I'm trying to learn how to run a game right now, and like I would love to talk to someone who is like passionate about making that process more welcoming and friendly and easy and all of that stuff, because it's not like that a lot of times.
I truly believe, my dear, that oh, hold on a second, they're ordering my dinner. Hold on.
Oh yeah, go order your dinner.
The K is good. Okay, yes, thank you, my friend. Haha. Yes, that is my son. His name is Michael. Yes, he and I have been game mastering together since he was like little, right?
That's awesome.
So we have played. He is now 31 years old, and we have played since he was 10. So Jess, listen, I want you to listen to me. First of all, don't be afraid. You are marvelous. You have all this wonderful personality. You have this beautiful vivaciousness, all of this stuff about you, right? So this is marvelous. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take these materials and you're going to do a few things. One, you're going to prepare. So you are going to learn the materials so that if your players go to here, you know what's going to happen. If they go to there, you know what's going to happen. If they go somewhere else, you even know what's going to happen. And then you're going to learn the non-player characters, right? The people they're going to interface with. You're going to learn who they are, feel them, all that kind of stuff. And then you're just going to go with the flow. Because if you know the plot, if you know the story, if you know the understories, the things that are going around your player characters, if you know kind of what happens if they go here or there, and if you have all of these things sort of in your mind, you'll blow their minds. You'll blow them away. I promise you. It takes some work. it is worth the time. Yes, Alex, you agree with me? Yes.
100%. And when you have all of that stuff prepared and the players go to the tavern and they want to talk to the goblin for 3 hours instead, keep all that stuff.
That's all good. You just let them talk for 3 hours to the damn goblin.
Yeah, and then whatever they want to go do, move that stuff to what the goblin sends them to. All that stuff is modular. It doesn't exist until the players interact with it. Is my number one piece of advice for new GMs.
Yes, it's very good advice, my friend.
There's no such thing as wasted prep time.
Never.
I'm over here looking through your Kickstarter page, and I mean, I've looked through it before, but it's just so different looking through it and talking to you at the same time. It gives it a totally different context. Because previously, I just knew who you were on paper, and this is just lovely. Like if someone hasn't checked it out and they're hanging out in chat, like you got to go look at this, because even just reading through this, I can already feel that like everything you're saying about this being, it really will make your life easier. Like even just reading this is easier than a lot of like other things I've read out there.
I really do believe when you read it, you will feel more like you're reading a tale than if you're reading an instruction manual. I really believe that. And also, Alex, I want to tell you something, because I know you are a marvelous game master already. You have this reputation, yes? So
I don't know if it's deserved, but people seem to like my games and they keep coming back.
I believe you are marvelous, my friend, and I just want you to know that many people have told me how wonderful you are, and I must catch a few streams now, because obviously I've not seen a stream yet, but I'm going to. So, but what I want to tell you is that for me, and I think for you too, we spend a lot of time, right? We go on the internet, we make props, we try to get pictures of our non-player characters so that we can show, what our players, are experiencing, right? It's all of these things that we do, all this work. That is what Gooey Cube tries to remove, so that you can spend more time in really preparing for the game and not spending all that time prop making and all that stuff. And I really believe that it works and it helps game masters.
Oh, that definitely sounds like it sounds like it would be a great help to a lot of game masters. And me personally, one of my favorite parts about GMing is doing the prop work and all that fun stuff.
Well, we're going to take a lot of that away from you, so you don't have to do as much.
Right, and I think that would benefit my games, because a lot of my last-minute stuff is, did I finish that Daily Planet article for Perry White so I could share it with my players in Metropolis? Or, I was, for our first stream here on the channel, I was doing weekly newspapers for the In-Universe newspaper.
Behind you?
Yes,
sorry,
that's right. Come in and come on, Marianne, bring this little dude. This is the guy. Come on, let him look right here.
Look, I'm an auntie to two under two, so I love little ones.
Down right here. Yes,
oh my goodness.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Hello, sweet one.
You're on the internet now. You're famous.
You're famous?
Notice. He's looking at you like you all are crazy right
That's
now.
fair.
We are the crazy box people. Don't talk to us.
We're totally crazy. It's totally fine.
Yes, that is the little grand dude right there. That is.
Oh my goodness. I was going to point out to you that's interesting. I'm over here, emotional about the fact that, I can continue my GMing journey, and you're making it seem so much reasonable, or so much more obtainable. And two, transparency here. I go to a lot of therapy, right? And I get a lot of therapy homework. And my therapy homework these past 2 weeks have been to learn to accept compliments, because I'm not good at it. So now I'm over here, and you're saying all those nice things, and I'm like, I'm over here just reciting my therapy homework to myself, you don't have to argue. It's okay. And then you go to your adult juice that helps you through that, and it's totally fine.
Yes, of course it is. No, listen, the thing is, part of game mastering, and you know this, Alex, part of game mastering is just our effusiveness. Our boisterousness, our willingness to put ourselves out there a little bit and not be afraid of the consequences. And clearly you have that already, my dear. You just do. You got that sparkle. It's marvelous. It's wonderful.
Yeah, and Jess, that's right, though. Jess, what he's saying is true. Whatever you put into it, the players will get out of it.
Yes.
And they will buy in. They will buy in so much to what you're selling them if you go all in and just leave it all on the table.
I believe that because I've seen you DM and GM so many times that like I would be lying if I said that Alex isn't my biggest inspiration for when I do this. Like I can see, I know because I've experienced it, what I get out of a GM who is invested into the story. Um, and working with Alex too behind the scenes on a lot of his games that have been streamed, I do know that a lot of his stress has been related to the like small things and the props and the doggos and all of that stuff. Like, so
That sounds like a big dog, Jess. That
it
dog will cut
does.
your face.
That is a Great Dane. I've got like
Oh,
400 pounds of dog
Oh,
in my house right now.
oh. No, I just have
good.
four cats,
How
so
marvelous.
I don't have dogs.
Hey, you're
But
fine.
I think that sounds really cool. That like, I mean, all of it sounds really cool, obviously, as I said. But the idea that like Alex could put together a game and not have to stress so much about like making sure all of those little components are always there, because like I said, I've noticed that that's usually his bigger stressor, at least from behind the scenes, because I'll put his streams on the overlay and all that stuff, and he's like sending me stuff like all day long, and I'm like, dude, like, have you gotten to work on your game, like the story part of your game at all, or are you just writing this thing all day? Because I'm just worried about you. So that's really, I'm just very interested in, like, I'm like I said, I'm looking through the Kickstarter, so I'm over here like,
Well,
what?
Jess, you watch some of those videos; they're gonna blow your mind. Some of those videos are trailers for our various adventures. Are marvelous. I mean, camera Mandy, she does all those videos. She is incredible, and she cares about what we're doing. Is really we're having a good time at Gooey Cube. We really are. It's a great group.
Well, I mean, it's raised over $90,000 already just looking at this. Like, what the heck? Of course, it's got to be doing something right. Like, things just don't all of a sudden make you hit
Right.
your goal in 2 minutes.
Yeah, two
Like,
minutes.
that's insane, dude. Congratulations. Like, this is it's wild. That
Yeah. How helpful has it been coming from that advertising background? I mean, that's got to be awesome having that whole group of advertisers working on all this
Yeah,
stuff.
so this is the thing. It's kind of a funny. I'll tell you a little tale if you don't mind me taking a moment. I won't
Oh,
take too long,
take
Alex.
as long as you need.
So,
I get paid
so
by the hour.
so do I. Yes. So anyway, so I have this little agency that's I'm a partner in with Colton Mike, and Colton Mike are also partners in Gooey Cube, and we have this great idea that we're going to publish all this stuff, and we go to Gen Con, and people love it. Oh, and my friend Carlos, thank you, my friend, has poured me a little extra wine. He is very dear.
Carlos needs a better tip.
So anyway, so we're scared, right? Because we've made something that I truly believe is quite different, right? We've made a box of stuff that normally people get. They get a book, right, or they get a magazette, or something like that. But in the old days, Alex, when I was young, you used to be able to buy these modules and they would have handouts in them. They'd have 20, 15, 20 handouts. Now they were all line art and things like that, but they would have them in there. And I remembered those things, and I began to incorporate those some years back into my own games. And I found that they really augmented. But anyway, point being, we go to Gen Con, we're all scared because we're breaking out this stuff that I've never seen before, and people like it, right? And all of a sudden, we almost sell out at Gen Con, and we almost sell out at Dragon Con, and we're doing great. We're going to these conventions, and then, of course, this most terrible thing happens to our society, to the world, right, with this terrible virus, and all the conventions are shut down. And I'm kind of a marketing guy a little bit, right, advertising guy, and my friend comes to me and he says, "Well, Mr. Smarty Pants," he didn't really call me Mr. Smarty Pants, but that was kind of what he was saying, right? What are you going to do now that your marketing plan of going out to this world and these conventions, now that that's not going to happen, what are you going to do? And you know what I said to him, because what is happening is quite amazing, and I do want to touch on this. I told him, I just want to make a bunch of friends, and I want to see what happens, because I think I've mentioned to you that Zioth A is a collaborative world, and what we are doing with Zioth A is we are having many of our friends and our fans be able to submit their creations and their ideas and their monsters and their spells and their locations and put them into Zioth A as published works. and this is incredible, what is happening with our community and what's going on with Zayate.
Yeah, I
Def-
think that COVID, it's terrible. I mean, it's terrible, but it has created a space where all of that becomes so much more possible because everyone's online right now trying to reach out and trying to find someone to hear them because they don't get to go to the conventions and show something. Uh, that's just really incredible and touching to even hear because like there's so many people that want to do stuff like that, and you're not only like looking out for yourself and stuff, but you're also including all of these people that just want like a little bit to like say to someone, and you're putting that out there for that is scary. That would scare the crap out of me. I would be terrified, but it is working for you because obviously like it helps being awesome.
yeah, and that was
Well,
that's
we have nearly 500 people now that have joined our contributors guild, and in the last submission round for what we call the Gloom Port, which is the port that is beneath the city of Darkenhaven, we had more than 200 people submit all these marvelous locations that are in the Gloom Port, and it is something so different from anything that is out there, and it is I am in fact, I dedicated the West the most recent encyclopedia that we put together. I dedicated it to the people of the Contributors Guild because they are making Zayathe. They're helping shape it. In fact, the two of you, I expect you to do a submission here on the next round. We will talk about it after this stream. We will talk about it. Yes,
Goo, I am embarrassed because I was supposed to submit something and
I know you were,
I
Alex.
have not done so yet. I have been publicly shamed, so I will get right on it.
Alex,
Haha.
I've told you already. I will give you the secret back door, right? You can still sneak in something for the Gloom Port. So,
Oh, I will sneak into Gloomport. Don't worry about that. Me and Drake Ironmouse are coming right for it.
aha, bring Drake. We are ready.
Um, but yeah, and it's so impressive that I think one of the biggest selling points that you have, Goo, is your personality and your willingness to approach people and to make people feel welcome and warm, and finding a way to make that translate online is it's such an incredible pivot with everything that's been going on, and it's the sign of an entrepreneur and somebody who is willing to create and willing to do what it needs to be done in order to get their vision through.
Well, Alex, let me tell you something, my friend. I am not young anymore, right? If anything is a passion project of my life, this is a passion project of my life, right? I've been, like I said, I've been playing these games since I was 15, 16 years old, and you have experienced it because you have been around the den and you've seen kind of the things that we are doing.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, the chance to give to lots and lots of people who normally wouldn't have the chance to have their ideas published, right? To have something special that they wanted to create brought to the world. This is a dream come true for me, and I've made so many wonderful friends, and it is really I tell some people, sometimes I am literally moved almost to tears, that this has happened, and it keeps going, and it is amazing. It is beyond my comprehension, beyond my wildest dreams.
That's amazing, and I love that you found a way to give back because I think that's one thing that just really like separates the people who are doing this just for like exposure and to be famous or whatever, and the people who know that gaming is a community that's for everybody. You
It
know,
is, my friend.
this is an outlet for people who haven't always had that social group or those physical abilities or that representation to find a place to unleash their creativity, and
Yes.
you
And
know
the thing
that's
is,
what I
and
love
the
about
thing
it.
is, Alex, the thing is, the world is better for it, right? I think, I believe very strongly, and I'm a very creative person, and I can make all kinds of cool things. And I think there are lots of people that can do that. But when you bring the whole community together, it can't help but be a little better, right? Because
Oh yeah.
there's more of us coming together to make something special, and that is what is so marvelous about what we are doing.
Yeah, speaking of friendship and the friends we make during all this stuff, your friend Tabletop Santa, asked if you could talk about, and I'm going to butcher the pronunciation, so I'm very sorry, but the Hanataz, which is a big part of the Red Star Rising campaign. Please
So
explain, because I feel like I'm reading a different language.
so the Hanatas are one of my personal creations, and I love the Hanatas because they are all of us. They are Sundestian, and they are Estrenian, and they are Verdestian, and they are Zustrenian, and they are dwarves, and they are Gurund, and they are Maroon, and they are all of us together, right? And these are people who have an affliction, if you believe what the world would say about them in Zayathe. They have an affliction called the blood touch, and so the blood touch makes them an anathema to most of the people who do not have the blood touch, which is most of the people, right? And so this tale revolves around these sort of outcast people, the people who are not treated so well, right? They're not given as much consideration as the rest of the folk are, right? And yet these marvelous ostracized people will ultimately, out of them will come the saviors of the world, right? And so out of the ones who are not favored comes the most important favor, right? Which is to save those who didn't care for them, right? Who treated them poorly. And I just think there's such a moral message in it, and so much of an experiential message in it, and an enjoyment of it, to have this marvelous group called the Hanatas. And I love them. And if someday, we are fortunate enough to continue on the path that we are on, I want to write a novel about the Hanatas, and tell their tale, because I think it's an incredible tale, truly.
I think you should write a novel because I could read a novel on that. Like I said, I did not grow up playing TTRPGs. I wish I would have. I was a weird kid amongst my friends. I don't think I was that weird, especially as I become an adult, have become an adult, and meet people that share my like love of all of this fantasy stuff. But as a kid, I didn't have any other friends that like anything fantasy based. I was the weird one for that. So just hearing all of this out loud is really emotional for me, just because it makes the kid in me feel very validated. Like, oh my gosh, I could like I was a Hanatas, what? Like that's really cool. I could like yeah, the kid in me is like freaking out about that. So I would
I
read.
think there were more than a few of us in this community that were a little bit Hanatas, right? And there's probably a very poignant message for this time too. So I you know you can gain many things from even small things, and so I'm right there with you, Jess. I was a little bit of a Hanataz myself, so.
Is that where you got like the idea for all of that from then? Just like drawing on your life
you
and
know you
stuff
know
you've
you,
been through?
you don't know where all these inspirations come from, right? They sort of pop into your mind, and you have these ideas, and I've been creating for a long time, and I am blessed to have been around many creators in my career, and to come to this place when I was 17 years old with my friend Greg, we started writing a TTRPG when I was 17 years old, maybe 18, right in that range. I don't remember exactly. But, here I am, nearly 60 years old. And finally, that is a dream that is coming true, and it is, and to do it, not just with a couple of people, but to do it with people like you, right? People like Alex, right? With the marvelous people that are in the Gooey Game Master's Den, people who have never been published before, but whose writings are marvelous, right? Their ideas are wonderful, right? To do this is just it's so humbling and amazing to see what is happening in the Gooey Cube, and I'm so thankful. You have no idea, and I so appreciate the two of you. Thank you for having this old wizard sitting here on Mrs. Goo's birthday, enjoying the two of you and your friends who are out there in the audience.
No, that's
Honestly, I feel like I should thank you. I feel like, isn't it supposed to be like the non-high mage people that are like thankful to the elders? Like, thank you for gracing me with your presence, or like,
Well, my
like,
dear, let me tell you now. Alphinius Goo is a character in the world of Zayathe. He has a tower. that is about 50 miles upriver from the city of Darkenhaven. And there are many actually now people who are our friends and our fans, and they have actually made characters and made portraits, and those people, those characters are in Xyothe. So I hope that someday soon we'll have a chat, and Alex and Jess will also perhaps join those ranks and exist in the world of Xyothe, which I think will be most marvelous.
My character would be a cat of some sort. That's all I can
Whatever you like, my dear.
Alex loves that idea. I don't know if living in Xyothe would be so good on whatever character we stick there.
I don't know. I'm freaking out. Like, I'm telling you.
It is a little bit of a corrupted world. It's got some, oh my goodness, someone is peeping at someone. But anyway, it is a bit of a corrupted world, so I don't know if it would be as enjoyable as our world in which we live now, but it certainly would be adventurous. Yes.
Oh yeah.
It might be more enjoyable considering. I mean, ours feels kind of corrupted.
Yeah, I feel
Just
that.
saying.
Yes, I can't disagree.
Got those bad moon rising all over the place.
At least in that world, there's adventures, and here it's mostly. I mean, virtual adventures are a thing, so that's cool.
Yeah, I was going to ask you where you came up with the idea for the Weirded World, because it has this sort of like mix of high fantasy and post-apocalypse almost that I was reading, where these like corrupt gods oversee the shattered reflection of what the world could have been. But you said that ideas just follow the sky, and I 100% relate to that as a writer. Right now, my notepad in my phone has post-apocalyptic millennial vampire story.
Marvelous.
Written as like, this is what I want to do next. It's about a vampire named Gary who lives in a speedway after the apocalypse.
No, that sounds great.
So,
I wrote a book once upon a time. I was like 18. I don't know. It was a while ago. But since then, the game Hades has come out. Totally a shameless plug. I'm enjoying the hell out of playing this game. But my point being is that Hades, the game story stuff, is very reminiscent of the story that I tried to write when I was like 18 years old. And I don't know exactly where I was going with that point, other than I totally get that ideas are like not this like linear thing. They're very it's here and it's gone, it's here and it's gone, and I don't know where it originally came from, but it's here.
Roll Hit Die. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Alex, please.
Roll Hit Die wants you to know that you've done Alfinia so much that he thinks Kim is lost deep inside.
Kim is lost. Yes. Ms. Goo actually sometimes we're driving along in the car, right? Okay, I'm going to do this. Hold on. So my real name is Kim. I don't have an English accent. And Alphinius is definitely one of my characters, right? And I'll be driving along with Ms. Goo, right? And we'll be driving along and I'll be talking to her. And all of a sudden she'll hit me, right? Because she'll say to me, she says, "You're in the loop." Right? With the Alphinius loop, right? And so she'll hit me. "Will you stop talking like Alphinius?" So they have brought me a taste of dinner.
Delicious.
Ooh.
Marvelous.
That looked like, is that meat? It looks
A
like meat.
little piece of steak.
Gotcha. I was just blown away I had to think about that for a second because this is my first time talking with you, so you could have fooled me. I was like, oh, cool, like, I wonder where he's from. I'm sitting here like, how can I ask? I always struggle with that question, like, a lot with my friends from other countries. I'm like, I never want to straight, like, where are you from? Like, that just sounds like a weird question to me. But
well, I have lots of accents and lots of voices. Alex, you do the same thing, right? We sort of create these different personas, right, that we can bring out when we're at the table, right?
Oh yeah.
And Alphinius was one that just kind of grew out of Gooey Cube. But I'm actually I will ultimately have, I think, 2 characters in the Weirded World. And one of them will be Alphinius, but I plan on taking a picture from when I was young, when I was a very young man. Because one of my first and ever only characters that I've had for many years was Mathron McGillen. And I'm going to take a picture of me when I was very young, 19, 20 years old, and make that picture of Mathron McGillen. So that is, and then Mathron will be in the Weirded World along with Jess and Alex if I have my way.
I would be so honored that I feel like this is like a lie. Like I can't believe it. It's too cool. Like another thing I was talking about in therapy, it all boils down to why I can't accept compliments. It's got something to do with all of that whole thing where it's like that nope, that's too good to be true. Like that's not a thing.
You know,
well, we will have fun.
I think you could do a third character, Phineas. You could make Alphinius Goo have a construct version of himself called Alphinius 2.
Alphinius 2.
I'll be here all week. So we already sort of touched on this, but you have a whole ton of GMing experience. You know, what are some things you wish you'd known before you started GMing?
So honestly, it was a long time ago, Alex, but this is a good question. And for people who are thinking about it and they're kind of nervous and all that stuff, I would say, don't be afraid. Just go out there and just do it, and you will learn from doing. And if you have a friendly audience, right, which most of us do, right? Most of us have friends that we're playing with, and they will help you. They won't hurt you. They'll guide you and help you gain, right? You know what I'm speaking of.
Oh, yeah.
Go do it. Don't be afraid. Go be a game master. Give it a shot. And if you like it, keep working on making your craft better and doing a better job. And if you don't like it, then go ahead and be a player and enjoy the wonders of being a player, because both are marvelously fun, yes?
Yeah, I actually think that is some of the best advice, is sit in both sides of the table.
Yes.
Even if you don't love it, you'll at least know where everybody's coming from. And you'll sort of have that experience to be able to, you know, give the GM a little bit of empathy if everything isn't going 100% the way that they're expecting it to. Or to be the kind of player that you wanted as a GM. I think that is one big thing. Going from GM to player is, you know, this is the kind of player who makes the game fun for the game master. And I want to do that.
Well, Alex, you know better than most, right? Because you've been doing this, right?
I've been doing it for almost 20 years too.
20 years.
Which is bonkers, because I'll be 30 in a little bit.
I was going to say, you look quite young, you know, so you've been doing it since you were quite young. So the thing is, if players, first of all, we as game masters have a responsibility. Our responsibility is to create a tale that is compelling enough that our players don't want to go off and create their own, right?
Yes.
Right? That's the truth, right?
Because then they'll leave us and they'll never come back like baby birds.
So that's our first responsibility. And then the players themselves, of course, if they are enjoying the tale, they will come along, right? Especially if the tale involves their player characters, right? If it's got their group sort of at the center of those things. And this is kind of sometimes what we forget as game masters, is that the players are what matter, right? They are the key in the cornerstone of the whole thing. Your tale is not as important as the players, right? And so you kind of got to do that dance and that balance, and sometimes you got to improvise, and sometimes you can railroad them right down the track because they love where the track is going, right? So it's sort of this balance between sort of sandboxy crazy and railroady crazy and sort of in the middle, and you know, all that stuff that we do as game masters.
Yeah, and I think railroad is a word a lot of players get caught up on, but they only mind it when they can notice. When they notice it's happening. Like, if they don't see the rails, they're like, oh, well, I'm having a great time. Wait a minute, I didn't make any of those decisions.
This is the illusion of choice. Yes, my friend, the illusion of choice.
Yeah, that illusion of choice, I think, is the most important thing, especially for some players. There are types of players who will just smash the invisible walls if they can because they don't like being boxed in or feeling like they're boxed in.
You know, I need you to understand here, just a little sidebar. My first ever TTRPG game was, it was 2 years ago, or Strahd was a year ago, right?
Strahd was a year ago.
Okay, it wasn't 2, so we're good. I've been playing for a year because I started playing Curse of Strahd with Alex as the DM a year ago. And hearing you guys talk about this illusion of choice and these railroad, like, I get it now because I've helped behind the scenes so much, but like flashback to a year ago and hearing the guy who was about to GM my very first experience talk about like, actually, it's all an illusion. I am just like flashing back to my game and the horrors of decisions I had to make, and it was all fake. And now I have to cope with that, and it's okay.
It's not fake. It's not fake. It's a tale, right? We tell it together. We tell it with you. You know, so I'm going to tell you a quick tale, Alex, if you don't mind, Jess, if you don't mind.
Please go ahead.
If you look, I think it's chapter 1. It might be chapter 2, but in one of those 2 chapters, there is a dedication, and the dedication revolves around a monster. Okay, and because when Ravenloft came out, right, and we were just young. And we were, playing these games, and what you had done basically to that point was you go down the hallway, you knock down the door, you kill the monster, you get the treasure. You go down the hallway, you knock down the door, you kill the monster, you get the treasure. That was sort of how the whole game went until this amazing thing, right, which was Strahd. And Strahd was a vampire who didn't stay in a room. He moved around this castle, right? And all of a sudden, as these young players that we were, and these young game masters that we were, your mind is opened up. My God, monsters can move. They can move around, right? They don't need to stay in the room. And that changed everything for us. Ravenloft was groundbreaking at the time. And most people don't even really think about it, but it was amazing, really marvelous.
I love Strahd. I think he is one of the most important NPCs that has ever been created in tabletop role-playing game.
Spot on, my friend.
I won't fight about that. I've always wanted to play in a Ravenloft game, but I've never had anybody run it for me. So I have always had to be Strahd.
I'll run it. I'll do it.
Do it.
It's interesting to me to hear this out loud too, because since that was my first TTRPG, it definitely, I think it kind of skews how I look at other TTRPGs. And I was helping my fiance come up with stuff for a story that he's telling of a homebrew game that he's doing. And I was comparing it to like, oh, well, why don't you just do it like this? Because I mean, that's how it was in Strahd. So like, isn't that how it always is? And he's like, no, I don't think you understand how revolutionary and how much that's just Strahd. Like that's what, like, I didn't understand, and I still barely do, but hearing it more, I definitely can see it too. Now that it's been a year.
It was Jess, it was something else. You're sitting there as these young players, and basically you have this paradigm, right? This paradigm is going down this is the way it always is, and all of a sudden the paradigm has changed. And you're like, whoa, this is totally different. And then from then on, everything you create, all of the ventures, the homebrew, everything that happens begins to change because of that one situation, that one character, Strahd. It was so crazy. You don't even know, right? Because you haven't been there. You've had the privilege of living past it, right? Not living before it, right? So it was something else. It was amazing.
Yeah, I am exceedingly, every time I think about talking about TTRPGs, I just get exceedingly thankful for my first experience being with Alex and being with I had other players in there too that were just so wonderful at making it an experience worth having for the first time, for sure. But I don't know, it feels like I'm talking about like the first time I had sex or something. That's just like what this sounds like. I'm sorry, that's what it sounds like. I'm over here like the first time was so beautiful, but it was like, it was like better than what other things in that situation tend to be for the first time. Like, it was just so cool, and like everyone was the story was mind-blowing, like, and I don't know, just learning how significant Strahd was to the whole world of TTRPGs really made me reflect on it and appreciate it more. Also, we did have a question for you from your good friend, not me, sorry.
But the Tabletop Santa or someone else?
Tabletop Santa. I'm going to find it because people are talking, and
while you're looking, Jess. So the Tabletop Santa, he's a TikTok person. His name's Rick. He's marvelous. And if you haven't had a chance to see him, you should check him out.
He's on TikTok?
Yes, he's on TikTok. He's doing wonderful things. He's making fun things that people I think would really enjoy.
I'm definitely gonna check that out.
I've been debating actually getting a TikTok because my friend keeps sending me TikToks of things that, whatever. Yeah. Anyway, so the question is, what is your biggest addiction in the gaming space? They think they know the answer, but I'm not going to say it
So
until you.
so so I have been collecting miniatures since I was starting playing this game, right? And when Grenadier came out with their first box set, I owned their first box set, and I have far more miniatures than I should ever have. And I'm sorry about that noisy car right there, but Miss Goo constantly chastises me about my miniature collection. But we will we will. Yes, that is our biggest addiction is miniatures.
Dwarven
Yeah.
Forge miniatures in specific.
Oh, I love Dwarven Forge, and to all those people who work so hard there. You know, Stefan, of course, created this marvelous concept, and I think I bought my first box of Dwarven Forge terrain in 1998, and they were it was unbelievable. This beautiful stuff, and of course they've come so far, and they make these marvelous things. But now you, of course, you got all these 3D printing things and all of this stuff. I mean, terrain is so wonderful for immersiveness, and now for most people it's very approachable and affordable, which is really wonderful.
Yeah, one of the gaming companies I work for, they have a whole bunch of 3D printable superhero terrain for miniatures games.
Yes.
It's so cool. They just sell the files to you, and you just put the file in your printer, and it spits out your miniature. It's insane.
Yeah.
As somebody who had to used to go to the store and buy all the boxes and leave all my money at the store and schlep them
I
home in
still
a
feel
truck.
like I leave all my money at the store, and in
Yeah.
fact, I think just for all of us, a lot of our store retailers are probably going through some hard times right now. So don't try to do the best as you can. Let's help out our retail stores, our community stores, where all these marvelous people have places for us to play and congregate and enjoy. Let us make sure we help them as best as we can. Amazon probably doesn't need our money as much as they do, right? So let us keep that in our minds.
I think Jeff Bezos would be okay.
Jeff's doing okay.
Yeah, I keep seeing this thing on Twitter of Small Business Saturday or something, and that's the first I've heard of it, and I'm all for it.
Roll Hit Die is also in chat, Alphinius.
Yes, Dan is marvelous, and he runs a wonderful stream. He's got a couple 3 different streams. He's actually streamed the Red Star Rising and done just a wonderful job with that. And Dan was one of our first ever friends, and I love Dan, and Roll Hit Die is just a marvelous little group, and I'm proud that we are a little part of what they are doing. It is wonderful.
Yeah, Dan has a wonderful stream he does with veterans. I
Yes,
think that's
he
still
does.
going on. Yeah,
Yes, he does.
and I haven't seen much of Dan since we started the Untold Stories project. I miss Dan. I have played with you. We played Star Wars together back in my Geek Unleashed days, which was a lot of
Wait,
fun.
who did you play? Who did they play? Which one?
So
that?
Dan was a guest starring Twi'lek scoundrel who would just show up and ruin our lives and then disappear after his adventure was over, leaving us to pick up the pieces. It was wonderful.
Yeah. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, it is almost time for us to let you go eat your actual dinner and enjoy some of Mrs. Gooey's birthday.
I'm excited to go be with her, but I have totally enjoyed this.
Yeah.
You all are both marvelous, and Alex, I'm so glad we did this. This is and to be like the first one ever, that's kind of cool. So
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know if anyone's gonna live up to this bar. Like, no offense to our future guests, but like, I had no idea what to expect tonight. But I'm gonna be honest, this has been like, I am very glad that this has happened. This has been absolutely beautiful.
Thank you, my dear. Thank you. I've enjoyed you immensely. I just love, honest to God, I love nerds. I love geeky people. Most of us went through hell in our youth. So.
Yeah.
So we have
Oh,
much
yeah.
empathy and much kindness for others. It's just I love the geeky community and the nerdy community. I just think they're wonderful people. So I
100%.
thank you both so much for this tonight. This was marvelous.
Yeah, and hopefully the world goes back a little bit to some semblance of normal, and we can hang out at Gen Con. I will definitely recommend everybody please go out and check out Gooey Cube's Kickstarter. They're very close to $100,000, which is their next stretch goal. Is that right?
Oh yeah, and I'm telling you, I got a bunch of secrets that are for stretch goals that I'm not letting loose until we hit 100,000.
Hey,
I mean,
Oh, is
100,000, I
that
got
hard?
some secrets that I'm gonna let go. So
you know,
I
I
can't
think
imagine keeping secrets.
I think $10,000 for Wizard Secrets is a good deal.
we'll make it. No, we'll make it. There's lots of people coming, and people are liking our stuff, and we really do. We make game masters' lives easier, and we make the game more immersive for the players, and that's that is a marvelous place to be, I think. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm over here checking out your Twitter now. I'm checking out the whole thing. Like, this is wonderful, guys.
Well,
If you
I'm not
didn't,
the good.
yeah.
I'm not the good tweet or Twitter or whatever you call them. I'm not good at that, right? I just, I get a little busy at times. I need to twit out more stuff. Is that what it's called? Twitting? Is it twitting?
It's flitting. I don't know.
It's called yeeting, I think. You just,
Yeeting.
like,
You yeet an
Yeeting.
elf. You yeet an elf. I don't know what that means, but I don't think it's a good thing. You yeet an elf.
The
You
elves
like
don't
yeet-
like it. I know the
you like
elves
yeet-
hate it.
yeah, you like yeet a thought out into the Twitterverse or something like that.
One last question, Alphinius. Looks
Yes, my
like
friend, yes.
Zal Powerup wants to know if you want to come and hang out in Titan City at any point ever.
If I want to hang out where? What did we say?
Titan City. That's the setting of the game I usually run on Tuesday
Oh,
nights.
you know what? If you want me to come hang out one night, I'll be a superhero.
Heck
Yes. I am here to save the day.
My
Yes, I will
gosh.
do whatever it takes to save the day.
That would be so much
But
fun.
no capes, right? No capes.
No capes, no capes.
I'm just gonna say the hero in my book, his life got a lot worse after he took his cape off. So I don't know if that was a good idea.
So he should have stuck with the cape, is
He
what
should
you're
have
telling me.
stuck with the cape. I
Alex,
think Alphinius Goo and Anson Walker would have a rough time together, but it would be fun for everybody who watched.
Well,
Thank-
yes. No, thank you too. Thank you too. This has been a wonderful. I can't even, guys. It's been wonderful. If you didn't check out the stuff like the Kickstarter, go check it out. If you have, check it out again and tweet it or twit it.
Yeah, twit
You
it
did.
out. Twit it out to all your Twitty friends.
Yeah, I mean, I did. Join me. I have 30 followers on my Twitter, but 30
Nice.
followers that are not here right now, so they can see it.
Right.
You're marvelous, Jess. Thank you.
Hey, Miles, you just caught us as we were wrapping up.
Hi, Miles. Nice to see you, my friend. Haha.
Awesome. So yeah, thank you so much, Alphinius, for coming on to our show. and
No,
for
Alex. Thank
helping
you,
us
my
interview.
friend. Thank you. Thank you. It was marvelous. I so enjoyed you both. That was wonderful.
Of course. Just some final notes before we wrap up. Everybody, please be sure to have a happy Thanksgiving tomorrow. If you are
Yeah.
celebrating, if you're not celebrating, have a great Thursday, whatever works for you. Friday, please be sure to check out the next episode of our podcast, Something Something Dragons, where Aaron is leading his daughter and her friends through their first ever Pathfinder campaign. And then come back on Monday for our Monday one-shots, where I will be running a game of Mouse Ritter with a couple of extra players. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. And then Tuesday we'll be back for East Texas University. So lots of fun stuff happening here at the Untold Stories Project. Please let us know down in the chat if you guys like this interview. This is something that I would really like to consider doing more often on our channel, because it does give us a chance to talk to the wonderful people out here creating this hobby that we are a huge fan of and we indulge in probably on a basis more than we should at this point. But yeah, thank you everybody. Who should we rate tonight, Jess?
Wow, I am so used to running the stream. I just haven't been. Let's see. My friend Jess is streaming. They only have 16 viewers right now, so we can bump them up a little bit better than that. They've bumped us up. Well, they've bumped me up a few times, but.
Yeah, let's go grab them.
All right, sounds good.
Oh no, somebody's got an idea they want to bug me about later. Uh-oh.
Oh no. Yeah, it's my friend Jess, for all of you who don't know, since we didn't run ads tonight. My friend Jess is my virtual friend who is also an independent game creator. and just all around awesome. Gamer with like a Y, you know? It's dope. Telling you. I hope to be that much of a gamer one day.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, we're going to rate them. Alphinius, again, thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your wife's birthday dinner. Please thank her for letting us borrow you for a little while.
This is good time. She will be fine. Thank you so much, my friends.
Excellent. Have a wonderful night,
Thank you.
everybody. We will see you next time.